There are a few things that I am absolutely terrible at when it comes to cars, and the main one is drifting. I don't know what it is about drifting, but I just cannot figure it out. The sport itself doesn't make a lot of sense to me, and drifting in most games to me is just a foreign concept. I just don't get it. So today, we're going to try to fix that. This is Drift CE, and here's the Sylvia. Let's see what I can do around at least a basic track, and we'll get in more depth later. So drifting is a complicated thing because every game has different drift physics, and that means that every game requires you to drift in a different way, or at least control the car in a different way to get the required outcome. In this game, I figured out fairly early on in the tutorial that at least in Freeride, all you have to do is do a donut and you can just get the highest multiplier possible. Assuming you're on the track, you'll get a decent multiplier. And then that's the best I've ever done, is just doing this over and over again. But if you actually want to be good and like drive the track, it's harder than it seems, and I don't want to be one of those people that plays games that only do push to drift like Need for Speed. It's like push B to drift. I want to learn to drift in every single game, and therefore it's doing it the hard way. Not the easy way, not push to drift. We're going the complicated route, the one that makes things difficult. I want to be able to do this and have the skills to do this no matter what game I'm playing. I figure that Drift CE is a good place to start because it sort of covers the basics of drifting, and it also is a drifting specific game. I don't have too many other drift-specific games, so this is kind of what I figured would be a good way to do things. I do have stuff like Absolute Drift in that, but it's a little less realistic, a little more arcadey. I'm not going to go and say that this game is realistic, though. It definitely is not. But what you're seeing here is pretty much the best that I can do if I try to chain a corner, and again, I'm trying to avoid using the handbrake if at all possible, although I know handbrake is sometimes necessary. The invisible walls at the end of the track are getting me more than anything else. This car is supposed to be drift prepped, so it makes it easier. It also has a lot more power and stuff than you would normally get in a stock car, so it makes it easier to drift. Basically, as I understand it, more power just makes things easier, whereas low power is still driftable, it's just more difficult. The reason I'm sticking it out in second gear is because we don't really need speed, we just need wheel spin and control, and weirdly, drifting, as I understand it, is more about grip than it is about lack of grip, so I'm curious to see if I can do any better with different cars. But I mean, I can't stay within the lines, but at least I can drift around the track. That's something at the very least. This game is a bit unique because it has a bit more to it than the average one of these sort of games. You see a lot of like asset flip style drift games on Steam and whatever, but this one has officially licensed cars. This is an actual Nissan 350Z, and it has some cool features as well, including the ability to build your car. I wanted to try and drift this 350Z, but then I realized it doesn't have an engine, so we're gonna have to do some work on that. Let's quickly add in a strut bar, just slap that in right there. This game kind of works similar to Car Mechanic Simulator in the case that well, okay, it has some extra accessories as well, but basically it gives you the little ghosts to tell you what you're missing and what you need, so we'll just kind of put these pieces in. Unfortunately, the engines are just generic. We have rotaries, we have boxers, we have a V8 and an i6 as well as an i4. The best thing to put in this car is just a V8, so we'll do that. Intake, LS style intake is an option, but obviously we want the trumpets. Why would we not? So I ended up putting the car on the lift because we don't have a transmission and I kind of need to slap that in. I'm just doing the parts here and there, just slap everything in that I can. Every single piece is missing pretty much. So I've got pistons in here that are forged. So far I have 4 forged pistons, but I could also just slap in 4 non-forged pistons to the front of the engine for fun. What's that gonna do? Yeah, the order of things is a little bit wonky in this engine builder, like the timing chains are on probably way too early. I don't even have like cylinder heads yet, but don't worry about it. I'm realizing now I probably should have just done this engine on the engine stand and instead of trying to build it in the car like an idiot. Oh man. So my transmission is on the ground and my engine is on a stand, and therefore I should actually be able to finish it. Okay, I finally got cylinder heads. You literally have to install every single one of these camshaft holders, which is a bit of a pain, but it is more simple than Car Mechanic Simulator, which I do think is a good thing. Let's put a green one on this side, why not? Okay, I think my Christmas themed engine is good to go now, so let's put it in the car, maybe? So I painted the car red. There's actually a very impressive array of things that you can paint your car. We definitely need a duckbill. What the heck am I doing? There it is. Now this is true drift spec. Okay, I don't have an interior. That's kind of important. Now I know one of the key aspects of drifting is setup, but I have not set up this car at all. So we're running a V8 completely untuned, just driving the car basically as is. I didn't do anything, I didn't even change the tires, so hopefully it's good enough. Maybe that's part of the learning curve. I actually have to like study and figure out how to do things properly instead of just slap it together. I'm very much a slap it together and pray type of guy, but maybe drift is a little bit more scientific than I thought. As I practice more and more with this car, it doesn't feel like super bad or anything like that. Again, I wouldn't really know what to feel for anyways. It definitely spins out a little more than I would expect it to, a little bit more than our Silvia did before, but it doesn't seem that bad. It seems fine, which is why I got confident enough to take this car to multiplayer. Now there are only 2 servers running for this game. One of them is in Europe, and that's the one that I'm on. The other one is in Asia. There's a guy with a Silvia. Let's see what I can do. They're just running a practice round, so that's what I'm going to do as well, but we may as well just see how I stack up against some random people online. Like, I didn't expect this game to have a particularly large population of players. There are other online racing games like CarX, which I definitely am interested in trying. Oh my goodness, I can't even make it around this corner. These guys are laughing at me. See, now is a good time to find out if there's collision in this game, because there probably is. But we'll find out the hard way if I go ghost mode when he goes by. Oh, tandem. Tandem failing. Oh, I suck. See, this is how we learn together. We have 2 buddies just randomly drifting around the track. We are learning together. This guy's actually not terrible. I should maybe take some advice from him in terms of like chaining these drifts. That was pretty decent. See, with this car in the V8, I'm not sure if it's really a second gear kind of car. It might be a first gear or maybe even third gear kind of car. I just haven't figured that out yet. Whoa, a little Lucy on there, coming into the corner. If this was a race, I would be getting destroyed right now. The guy over in the back that we haven't run into yet actually seems to be doing pretty good, so we might end up near him at some point. Oh! Oh man, I suck. Yeah, so it seems like if I try to power out of a slide, I just don't have the traction to do it. So I have to be more graceful, I guess, with my throttle usage in order to try and maximize that slide potential. I don't want to overcorrect or overdo it, basically, with the wheel spin. I'm currently running third gear, which seems to be decent. I have way too much power on tap for this car. Oh, that's an improvement, though. I'm off the course, but that was an improvement. Yeah, so basically just kind of pulsing the throttle instead of just having it matted the whole time seems to be a better course of action for me. Maybe I gotta add another whole like parameter to drifting. It's like your setup matters, your car matters, the game you're playing matters, like literally everything changes the way that drifting works. If I'm playing Need for Speed, it's press B to drift. If I'm playing BeamNG, I can drift fairly easily in that game just because you're usually using cars that are maybe a little bit too powerful for the tires that they have on. But dedicated drift games or Forza, I can't do anything, and that's what this whole like video is about. I want to be better. I kind of need some help with that. Oh, that's not too bad. That was a very high-speed corner. Second gear. Tandem. I don't know if this guy's trying to follow me or not. Yes. Okay, so my goal before the end of this video is to try and chain like the majority of this course together. If I can do that, basically drift the entirety of the course, then I will feel good about myself. Ideally without going onto the grass. Oh, that's almost an overcorrect. That is an overcorrect, and I'm on the grass. And that run is ruined. Cancel that. How do you drift in these types of games? Have you played Drift CE? What's another drift game that I could potentially try that might work? I know of CarX in the online version of that. I don't really know much else. I guess you just type in drift to Steam and see what comes out. But I gotta try some other games. maybe instead of mastering one, I need to master them all at the same time, apparently. The physics in this game feel decent. It's definitely arcadey. It's not supposed to be realistic, but I do like the fact that you can kind of build your car. It's also mildly worrying that the two other people in this have stopped, so they might be like, who the heck is this guy in the 350Z running around our course? Sorry. They say if you spend a long enough time doing things that you'll just get better at it. It's not always the case because you need to be effective in your training. It's the whole 10,000 hours debate all over again. But basically, if you spend a lot of time doing something effectively, you're going to get better at it. Sometimes doing things the wrong way, you're going to develop bad habits and then it takes time to break them. I'm very firmly in the bad habit territory, I think. I definitely need to break out of that, so I don't know, what's it gonna take? I'm using my Xbox controller right now, by the way, so that's making things more difficult. But once I get the sim rig going, I have to update the computer on that one because Steam just made it so Windows 7 can't use Steam anymore. But my office room is almost done, so my SimRig setup will be plugged into my main computer and we can play this on that, and maybe, just maybe, that'll improve my drifting if I'm using a reel. All I see is a cloud of smoke over there, boys. I think that's signaling the end of this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I don't really know what's going on this time. I'm trying my best to learn something new. That's what New Year's resolutions are all about. That's what 2024 is all about for me. It's about taking some risks, trying to learn some new things, trying to be better at a lot of things. I'm just kind of mediocre at too much, and I want to focus in a little bit on my skills and try to be better at the things that I suck at. So today is part of that. Let's get better at drifting. Let's get better at everything. Oh, that guy's going the other way. Wow. I gotta end this off at a bang like I usually do. How fast can this car go directly into a wall? I don't think I've ever hit 5th gear in this game. Does this do anything? No, there's no damage in this game. Alright, hopefully you enjoyed this one. See you guys again next time. More cool stuff coming up soon, so subscribe, like, and comment, and see you soon. More 350Z content to come.